Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Also, happy New Year everybody. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and a good start to the new year. So for Christmas, I only really got about 3 things that were Beatle related, only because we didn't get a chance to go to our local record store to get what we normally do get. The only Beatles record I got was Revolver. I also got John Lennon's In His Own Right. By the looks of the pages, it looks like it's an original. I mean, technically this thing's not Beatle related at all, but I thought I'd show you guys this anyway because I absolutely love it. I got a new tenor ukulele, which is of Amazon, and it's a K-Mize ukulele. But getting on to today's video, as you can probably tell by the title, I am going to be finding my inner Beatle today. And for some of you who may not know how I'm going to do this, I'll tell you now. For Christmas, I also got Beatleology, which is a book written by Adam Jaquette and Roger Jaquette. And technically, you take a quiz which is inside this book, and you technically find your inner Beatle. It's kind of like astrology and zodiacs crossed with Hogwarts houses. I've seen this float around and I've always wanted this book. I haven't looked at it except that I know there's 7 parts to the quiz. The first 2 parts of the quiz have 10 questions and the rest of them have 5 questions. I will be reading each question and each answer I give. I probably won't read every single answer that's available. So there's 4 answers for each question, but I'm only going to say the answer I'm going to give, I guess. And then I'm going to tally all the scores off camera, and then I'm going to come back and explain who my inner Beatle is. As a prediction, I think I'm either going to be a George or a Ringo. So, let's get started. Part 1, work. In my career, my feelings regarding success are, I feel as though I'm yeah, I want to be successful, but I'm not willing to sell myself for it. 2, I see my boss as A, someone to work with and help me as long as he or she is not too domineering. 3, in my relationships with my co-workers, I feel D, I like my co-workers as long as they don't try to dominate the workplace. I feel as though the workplace should be an even field, no matter how long you've been there or how talented you are in that field of work. Everything should be even and fair. 4, when picking a career, I look for D, a certain degree of freedom and the ability to express myself. 5, during my lunch hour, I am working out my personal projects like art, music and writing. That sounds like me. Arrive at work. Probably A, I like earliness. I am an early bird, so I'd rather get there early and leave early rather than get there late and stay late. 7, things I've stolen from work include drinks on the express report and paper clips. That sounds like something I'd do. My obligation towards work is probably A, I need my job for money, but my real obligation is to myself. 9, when I quit a job, I would like to say quietly walk away, but fantasize about burning the place down, because I have felt that way towards a job before, but normally I leave well and on quite good terms. 10, when I go on vacation, I check in occasionally but prefer not to. That sounds about right. Part 2, relationships. 1, in a lover or spouse, I look for a loving and easygoing partner. That sounds very nice actually. 2, dating is a fun way to meet people. I like that. Yeah. In a long-term relationship, I tend to be stable and avoid relationship drama. I don't like drama. 4, after a breakup, I am also hurt but have a period of quiet reflection. 5, during sex, I am top, bottom, or side, whatever. Don't really care. 6, on a first date, I just want to go out and have a good time. 7. When I propose marriage. I have thought about the ramification and realised I truly want. 8. I view sex as a way to achieve love and affirmation. 9. My thoughts on infidelity are, I'm not willing to cheat because I don't want to be viewed as that sort of person. 10. Complete this sentence. I hate. I'm going to have to put A, which is war and strong women, even though I don't hate strong women, I just hate war, and that's the only answer that kind of works for what I'm going with. Part 3. Family. 1. When it comes to raising children, I will love my kids if I choose to have them. I am likely to see my children as friends when they grow a little older. 2. Family is important to me because they are the only people I can trust and count on in life. 3. Which describes your role in the family? I am just one member of the family. We share decisions and responsibilities. When I was growing up, my mother and father were supporting and loving. I got very lucky, which is true. 5. An ideal family vacation is travelling all together, possibly in an RV or boat. I wish that could happen, even though in my family we'd probably get into a big argument. Part 4. Morality. 1. Do I owe a debt to society? I don't own the world anything. Life is inherently unfair. 2. Is stealing ever justifiable? Stealing is wrong and it hurts others. 3. You've arrested a suspect terrorist. He may be aware of when and where a terrorist attack will occur, but will only reveal the truth through painful torture. Would you torture him? Couldn't somebody else do this? Is there such thing as right and wrong? There is an objective right and wrong. For instance, it's wrong to commit murder or rape. 5. Is it ever acceptable to lie? I try to not lie, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Little white lies are okay. Part 5. Religion and spirituality. 1. Do you believe in God? I'm not honestly sure. Part of me hopes there is a God, but I'm not positive. Yeah. 2. What is God like? God is more of a force or idea. I don't see God as a little person, no. 3. Complete this sentence. I am spiritual but not religious. Yeah, I feel as though I am more a spiritual person, not a religious person. Hello. Oh, you totally be a Rico. Oh, you can't. What are you doing? What are you doing? As a kid, I saw church as an annoying waste of time. Even though I didn't go to church, it just seems like an annoying waste of time. 5. Do pets go to heaven? Oh, Kevy, you would totally get into heaven. I reckon yes, or they're reborn. I like the idea of that. Part 6. Money. How are you with money? I'm pretty good with money, but I can also justify unnecessary purchases. At the end of the month, I'm okay because I tend to have a nice reserve. What do you spend on your vacations? I tend to spend a bit too much on my holidays, but I am willing to stay in a cheap motel if it gets me where I want to be. If I won the lottery, I would use the money to make myself financially secure. 5. How much did you spend on your last car? I bought an inexpensive yet environmentally friendly car. Yeah. Part 7. Miscellaneous. What kind of setting makes you the most comfortable? I try to avoid party settings and prefer intimate gatherings. In work, I prefer to work alone. Who do you turn to in time of need? I turn to my very trusted friends. I don't feel they will judge me. What genre of books do you enjoy? Mystery, thrillers, and science fiction, and anything that is enjoyable. I don't read books to make myself look cool. 4. How politically aware are you? I'm not overly political, no. And last question, 5. If you were to commit suicide, I would never commit suicide, I just couldn't do it. Okay, that was all the questions. I'm going to tally up my answers and I'll be back and I'll be able to tell you guys who my inner Beatle is. Okay, so I just finished tallying up my scores. The results didn't really surprise me, but they did surprise me, and I'll explain why. So technically I have my main Beatle and then the minor Beatle. I got George as my inner Beatle, so I am a George at heart. But my minor Beatle did confuse me a little bit. I was expecting it to be Ringo, but it's not Ringo, it is Paul. So I am a George with a Paul minor sign. 20 answers were George, 10 answers were Paul, 8 answers were John, and 7 answers were Ringo. I'm going to be reading the first page of the George chapter, the positive traits, negative traits, and famous Georges. Tell me in the comments if you want me to read the whole George chapter in another video, because I can do this, but this video is going to be long as it is, so I'm not going to read the whole chapter today. But tell me if you want me to do a part 2 of this. Are you a calm, contemplative person? Are you shy yet you have an inner strength? Maybe you're well-grounded and practical. Do you think you are the only sane person around and everyone else is crazy? I do sometimes feel like that. Positive characteristics. Creative, spiritual, reserved, quiet, intelligent, thoughtful, insightful, idealistic, analytical, self-disciplined, reliable, industrious, practical, introspective, and diplomatic. And then the negative characteristics are shy, passive-aggressive, true, withdrawn, secretive, resentful, jealous, overly serious, indirect, deceptive, vindictive, stubborn, yes, arrogant, stingy, cynical, unassertive, and apathetic. So famous Georges, Abraham Lincoln, Gandhi, the Buddha, George Washington, Bill Crosby, Harrison Ford, George Clooney, Chris Rock, Alfred Hitchcock, Bill Gates, Isaac Newton. Okay, so I'm also going to read how my main Beatle sign as a George works with my minor sign as a Paul. While it might cause George Harrison to turn over in his grave, it's true that his minor sign was a Paul. It's well known that the two didn't get along well, especially in the later years of the Beatles, but there is definitely a part of Paul in George Harrison. Most of George Harrison's Paul traits relate to ego. While George is often viewed as the quiet, humble Beatle, beneath the surface he had an ego size of Yankee Stadium. This trait is true of many Georges with Paul's rising. They'll never admit it, but they think they are pretty damn good at what they do. George Harrison could also be stubborn, just like a Paul. He wanted things done his way. True, he wasn't as vocal about it as the other Beatles, but George had a vision for every song he wrote, and felt they were just as good as Lennon and McCartney offerings. I'm just realising that I am a George with the Paul rising sign. This just got totally embarrassing because it's true. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this really strange video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you have taken this test and what your inner Beatle is and who your minor Beatle is. Tell me if you want me to read any more from this book, because I will happily do a couple of parts where I just read from this book to you guys if you guys haven't actually done the quiz and you want to learn more about it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys next Sunday. This is Cheyenne signing out.